Hey guys! Alright, so I am Ashley Smith and we are so sorry that we could not get everything to work. So we have worked so hard to get to this moment right here where I could share some of my tips and what's been going on in my business to help you guys, and so I'm glad that I at least get to go live. So here we are. I do have a PowerPoint. What I'm going to do is try to maybe turn the screen around, turn my video around in between when I'm talking so that you guys can kind of see a glimpse of what I'm trying to share with you. So these are my top tips, I was going to do top 5, but I kind of have a bonus one, so top 6, you get a bonus, to success. So Mindy just told you that my team, we are number 12 in the company and we're really excited about it. We've been working really, really hard, and I want to preface all of this first with kind of giving you a really quick background from me. I am a mom to a 1-year-old little boy, wife to an amazing husband. I started coaching at a very inopportune time. I was working full-time as a teacher. I was pretty much gone for about 13 hours a day between just working and getting there early and my duty after school, and then also traveling the commute. So it was a lot. It was not the time to really take on something new. But my husband and I knew that we wanted to start a family very, very soon in the near future. And so I was kind of starting to think of things that would allow me to be at home, but that would make me feel more fulfilled. I was feeling very burnt out in my teaching career. I was teaching middle school Spanish, and I had been for years, and I was really looking for something new. So that's when coaching kind of fell into my lap. I was invited by multiple people and finally said yes to one girl that I really connected with. And that's kind of where I got my start. You know, I was working full-time and making this business happen on top of my long hours from work. I would get up even earlier and stay up even later, and I would work in every single crack of my day. And I always joke about it. I'm like, I was the worst teacher that last year because once I got started, I really had no idea what Beachbody was going to become for me, but once I got started, I was hooked, and I worked all the time, early mornings, during my lunch break. I was like a hermit in my classroom, and when my kids were doing busy work or doing their, their individual, centers and things that they were doing, I was doing my own work, my Beachbody work, and so I just made it happen. I sacrificed a lot of time and things that I might have rather been doing or just sitting and watching TV, right? But I made it happen in all the different cracks and just kind of sacrificed some time. So wanted to kind of give you a background on kind of where I got my start. It wasn't just, I wasn't doing anything. I had a very crazy schedule, crazy full-time job, and then I built my entire business pregnant. I got pregnant the month after I became a coach. So God is funny how he just kind of sets everything up, but that really busted, put a fire underneath my booty to get going because I was pregnant and I was like, holy cow, okay, this needs to work now. So that's kind of how I got my start. All right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to screen share with you guys, and hopefully you can kind of see that, and I'm going to try not to shake. Okay, so this is my top tip number 1. And this one, if you've ever heard me speak on a team call or speak to anybody, I talk a lot about this, about using your page like it's your journal. I truly believe that this has been the absolute I don't even know the right word, but this has been the number 1 thing that I have done for my business, and the number 1 thing that has brought in new coaches, new challengers, new everybody, followers, everything, because of how I share my story. So what I mean by this is just being transparent. When people come to your page, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, or it's kind of like Snapchat and Instagram stories, both of those make it feel really real for you to get to just be able to know who those people are, right? You get to see them in their everyday life, you get to hear their voice and hear their expressions. It makes it really more real. So when I kind of open up my Facebook page for the day and my Instagram, I try to do the same thing through my pictures. I try to be very honest and real and kind of just walking people through what my daily life is like. I want for them to get a glimpse into my lifestyle, a glimpse into what I'm doing. And now obviously that looks really different when I was, full-time teaching. I'll come back so you guys can see me. That looks a lot different now than it did then, right? You know, when I was full-time teaching, I had to kind of use, you know, my days off, and I would share about how exciting it was that I was, you know, it's not my full-time job, but it's kind of like my second job. It's a hobby. It is something that I love, and I have a full day off of work from teaching, but here I'm sitting, you know, eating my cereal or whatever, and talking to challengers and talking to new coaches and things like that. So, you know, it's kind of different how I did it. But for me now, you know, I share about everything. I try to infuse coaching into everything. I use words like mom boss and girl boss and things like that, and explain what does it look like for me to, yes, be a stay-at-home mom, but have purpose and passion and the things that it looks like that I might sprinkle into my day because of this thing that I do, this thing that I'm a part of. So that's what I mean by kind of just sprinkling coaching into everything, sprinkling what you get to do as a coach every single day. And I have coaches all the time. I have a lot of coaches on my team who personally work full time. And so I always tell them, you know, think about, I know that you work full time, or maybe your boss can't know that you're planning on leaving yet. That was me. You know, I couldn't tell everybody that I was planning on leaving teaching, right? Because they would really have their eye on me because I was slacking big time. But I have big goals to do, right? So, but what I tell them is, if you're still here and you're still coaching, there's a reason why you're here. So you have to think about what is it now, if you were just sitting here right now, Ashley, what are you thinking, feeling, doing? You know, what is going on in your head and in your life because of coaching? It does not have to be that you quit your full-time job. For me, I was freaking pregnant and working full-time 13 hours a day, and I built my business that way, and we went elite in our first year. So you have to just share so much. It doesn't matter about your circumstance. It doesn't matter about if you're a full-time coach or not, but you have to let people into what that lifestyle of a coach looks like, what the lifestyle of a coach who also works full-time looks like. The way that you portray your story is the type of people that you're going to connect with. Naturally, when I was a teacher, I was bringing on so many teachers who were burnt out and who wanted to feel like they were making a difference, but weren't getting that same satisfaction from teaching. Now, I'm a mom. Well, honestly, when I got pregnant, I brought in a lot of pregnant girls, and now half my team, we all have the same age of kids, which is so fun. But, you know, I brought on a lot of moms who were just wanting to work on themselves and have a place for accountability. Now I bring on a lot of moms who want just purpose in life. They want something more for their life. They don't want to just be a stay-at-home mom. You know, they love being a mom, but they need to kind of get out of their own head and get connection with people. And so that's where sharing your story is so powerful. Okay. I could sit here and talk forever, but I've got to try to keep myself on pace. All right, so, you know, I talk about just being really real and honest and, you know, just letting people get a glimpse into your life. So I wanted to share a couple things, and these are more based on like the kind of get real type thing, but like, so over here, this is a picture of like Saturday afternoon, and we're working like, you know, on Instagram and Facebook, your life can look perfect really easily. You can look like you're happy all the time, you know. And so for me, I was showing, you know, Hudson has literally torn apart my office, but here we are, and we're doing amazing things for new challengers. My husband's helping me work, whatever. Over here, you know, people see this. People see really, you know, that's not really ripped, but, you know, like really ripped abs, and people who are so fit that they follow on Instagram, especially on Instagram. And it's so easy to think that that is what everybody looks like and what you need to look like. But you know what? We're all just normal. Like, I sit down and I have all my belly skin that hangs over, you know, because I had a baby, and it's awesome. And you have to share that. Over here, you know, I shared about when I was younger, I used to wear so much makeup and try to kind of like, you know, that was my way of just kind of masking, you know, myself. And now I'm like, who cares if I wear makeup? I'm doing this call for you guys right now with barely any makeup on. You know, and it's just about being real and letting people kind of connect with you on a greater level. This is another example, you know, of just kind of sharing my lifestyle. This was fall time when I began coaching. You know, I kind of wanted people to see what I was doing. I was drinking hot chocolate, and I was reading. You can tell that I'm reading personal development books. You can tell that I've got my computer out. And over here I talk about, it's my first day off school, but you know what? I woke up early to work out, and, you know, I kind of, whatever, I go into, you know, what I was doing. That's a great way to share about coaching and what a coaching lifestyle can look like, even when you're working full time. Who cares if you're doing something like this at home if you are a full-time teacher? That's a kind of post that you could make even if you're working full-time and your boss doesn't know that you're planning on leaving. Okay, top tip number 2. Be consistent and do, that's shaking a lot, sorry. Be consistent and do the unglamorous work. what you do behind the scenes makes you successful. So biggest thing ever is two things. So one, I find I have so many coaches who hit that successful moment, and they kind of almost freak out, and that's when I get those messages, and I can almost always feel it. I get those messages and they're like, I just can't do this anymore, I'm too overwhelmed. You guys know the whole drill, where they get really overwhelmed. And what I always realize is, one, they've stopped personal development in their search for success, right? They've stopped doing the basics. They've stopped reaching out to people and having meaningful conversations. They stopped doing what got them there in the first place. And so what I kind of do and what I kind of make sure to, or what I really firmly believe in is, one, you have to continue to do not the bare minimum. You have to continue to do what made you successful in the first place. So for me, our team has risen and done so much in such a little amount of time, but I firmly believe that would not have been possible had we've all just forgotten what got us there in the first place, which is doing a power hour and being consistent and just loving on people and talking to people over and over again. You have to keep doing that. You have to keep doing what got you there. As far as rank things, the way that I think about it in my head is I think, okay, I went emerald once, I'm going to go emerald again. Or if you went diamond once, all right, you're going to go diamond again and again and again. And you're going to act like you're building to a new rank, and just keep that mindset of bringing on that many coaches. That is where you have, you get more blood and more energy in your team and more people that can go out and help more people, which helps your team just grow and grow and grow and grow. So the second that you find success, you have to make sure that you don't stop doing what is just the basic important things. And I promise you, if you've ever gotten to that point, just start doing a good power hour again. Just start doing something new, and it will literally change so much. Yes, Mindy, I will save it. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you guys. For me, when I can kind of gauge when my team is having kind of a rough time kind of thing, and so what I do is I make new trackers for them. We do new power hours. Isn't it just something about just kind of doing something new makes it better, right? Some of you guys use Teamsy, some of you use something that is printed out like this. So, this I will also give you guys if you'd like it. But this is just another tracker, and it was just something new. I find that so many of my coaches just don't. They need just a reminder of what to do every single day. So this is kind of, what it looks like. Just, making their connections, just having a nice place to write down all of their stuff. That's their power hour sheet for the day. And then kind of planning out your post for the week helps so much. So for me, when you get to a place where you start finding success, whatever it's defined in your own terms, and you stop doing the basics, it gets really hard to keep going, and it will continue to get hard to do that. So you have to just sit down, think about what you need to do to revitalize yourself, whether it's new PD or a new tracker like that. I was actually using Teamsy for a long time, and now I kind of am back to pen and paper because I love it so much. So you kind of just have to figure out what is going to make you motivated, and you have to keep doing it. Okay, tip number 3 is helping your new coaches be successful. And I won't go super into this because I know we have this preached all the time. But so 1, having a really good coach basics. For me, I bring in my new coaches, and I kind of try to bring them in pods or in groups of coaches. And so what I do when I bring them in, they go into a 7-day new coach training where they learn so much about just what it looks like to be a good coach, the do's and don'ts, how to deal with objections. They get a good glimpse into just all the products and stuff, right? Because you don't know that as a new coach. They learn just about how to share on social media. I help them craft their new coach welcoming post. And then what I do is, since I kind of bring them on in groups, I put them into a message thread. And so they go into a thread with other new coaches, and in there they're really, working together, and they're hosting their first free group together, and they're just encouraging each other and checking in every single day after they go through their 7-day boot camp. And then they go into a larger 21-day training, which is Micah and Tara. It's their training. And so that's where they get, more information on just how to move forward in rank and how to move forward in your business and things like that. Another thing that's great is recognizing them. You guys, your coaches are your lifeline. They're the bread and butter of your business. You have to in order to bring, move your team forward and move your business forward, you have to recognize them and encourage them and help them. Baby coaches, they don't know what to do, right? That's where you have to get with them and you have to work with them and help them be successful because they just don't know, right? And so for me, I love new coaches. I love getting to mentor them. And it's funny because I have other coaches who I work with in Success Pods, and new coaches is not their thing. It really overwhelms them to have to go back to the basics again and encourage them and all that kind of stuff. And for me, I love it. I love the energy that a new coach brings to the team. I love the excitement. I love the every single day that they check in and they learn something new about Shakeology or about the programs, how excited they are and how pumped up they are to start sharing. That is so good, and you want to maximize that and bank in on that as much as possible. So for me, I recognize them, in our thread and on the team page. They help their first person with a challenge pack. You better believe I'm going to shout them out in the team page and get them excited and get the team, rallying around them and congratulating them. That makes them feel so good, right? And it may seem like something so simple and silly to you as you've kind of grown your business forward, but it really is, it's not to them. It means so much to them. So you have to continue to really protect that momentum. A couple of you guys are asking, what do you do when they don't participate in Coach Basics? Again, you're going to have those coaches, and I have them too when I bring on new coaches. There's always a couple who maybe do day 1 and day 2 and they kind of fizzle out. But for me, they know I voice message a lot with them. So, I voice message them. I give them my expectation that they're going to go into this group and they're going to check in with me after every single day of their training. And one way that it does help a lot, is really to have them in a message thread like that. They really thrive on seeing everyone else check in, so they're going to check in too, right? And they want to have that one-on-one call with you, and I don't have a one-on-one, GSR call or anything like that until they have done their new coach training and they are showing me. If they're coming back to me and they're asking questions over and over again that I know are in that new coach training, then I just kindly ask them, I'm like, have you really gone through this training? You need to go back, and then let's, come back to me when you find that answer, and then let's talk about it. Let's get our started right call going, okay? Because it's not, it's definitely not the place to spend all of your time, and that's really easy to do that when you start just kind of connecting with all your coaches, and that's something that I have to do. I love pouring into my coaches and helping them so much because they are my family, and I have to remember to, okay, I got to do my stuff first, and then, and then get to them. So, Lisa, it's going to kind of depend on the person, but you kind of have to figure them out too. It's like, I always equate it to like a relationship. It really is like you're in a relationship with somebody. You have to figure out who they are. You got to figure out what their love language is. Are they driven by recognition? Are they driven by gifts or, things where they might get to, some kind of event where they get to meet you or hang out with you or a one-on-one call with you, if it's a new coach, things like that. You've got to figure out what it is that they really are inspired and encouraged by, and then use that to connect with them. That's going to help too from the very beginning. And you could use those personality code tests and things like that, but it always reminds me of kind of like my relationship with my husband, right? We have to kind of figure out how we work together, what he likes and what I like, and how we both feel loved, how it fills our love tank. You have to fill your coach's love tank too. Okay, how many do you have in a message thread together usually? It just kind of depends. Like, I think at most I've actually had like 10 or 11, and that was in the last couple months when I brought on a ton of new coaches at once. But generally it's about 5 or 6. It's very, very small, and they love it. And I just kind of title it New Coaches August 23rd or whatever day it is that I put that together. Okay, let's move on. So my next tip is, this is something I'm really passionate about, and I think it's something that has really changed the course of my team, is creating a community vibe. And it may seem really simple to you, but for me, this is something that I work really hard on. I work really hard to create team culture and vibe on my inspiration crew. So, you want it to feel like it's home. You want it to feel safe. You want it to feel supportive. You want to host team calls and hangouts and retreats and things that let them, find that community within each other. Let's see, what else did I write on here? There's just a bunch of words. I don't even know if you guys can see that. Another thing that I equate to community and team culture is also the the degree with which you share with your family as well. For me, from the very, very beginning, I had my husband involved. He was not one that he was not one that Shakeology and all of that. He barely would work out. He was a big time, like, I only run kind of guy. And so me like asking him or like kind of gently pushing him to get involved and stuff like that was really not working for us. So for me, it's just kind of like leading by example and getting my family involved in that. And that has really created such an awesome community. And I'll share about that in a second within our bigger team. But so this is something that yes, team culture is so important, and the way that you connect with them, the way that you share with them, and the way that you are just present with them. So going live like this, sending them messages, getting coaches in success pods, talking to them, reaching out with them. The one reason that I did like TeamZ a lot is that it kind of consistently brought in new coaches up on my feed for me to talk to that day. And I really love that. It can be something as simple as hey, I just wanted you to know I was thinking about you this morning. Is there anything I can do for you? I mean, you would have thought that might have just blown some of my coaches' mind when they got a message like that from me. But that is what creates community. That is what gives them just the confidence to come into the team page, the confidence to get onto a team call, the confidence to listen to a live video. Your team and your coaches, yes, our challengers are so important and all that, but as far as building a business, a successful business, your team is it, you guys. You have to connect with them in a way that they're gonna respect you and want to support you and want to make you proud. And that comes from the way that you connect with them and the things that you do with them. So for us, we have diamond dates on Monday nights where we grab a glass of wine or some coffee or tea or whatever, and we just kind of hang out. It's a place for me to get to be with my leaders, and it's amazing. It's so fun. And there's times where we cancel it because we're all busy, but it's a nice time for me to get to know the girls who are really working very, very hard in their business. We have team calls, and I have new coach calls, and I go live like this all the time. My husband now, we're approaching my 2-year coaching anniversary on November 3rd. And my husband is super involved now. He hops on our team calls. He'll pop in right here in the corner into our live videos and kind of give a husband perspective to the team. If you have a husband that is supportive of you, you guys just get him involved in the team. You would be amazed at how much your team will just love seeing, kind of a male presence in your team. And, my team is predominantly women. And so for them, they think it's awesome, and they get their husbands and they tell them to get on the team calls and stuff. And it just creates a lot of team culture and so much of a family feel, and that's really important. And one thing I want to say about that too is, with your new coaches, this is something that you have to tell them because they just don't know, right? For me, when I bring on new coaches, now I share all the time about my team and how much I love them and what we're doing and what our events look like and the type of community that we have, because that is something so important to me. And so, we do a lot of sneak peeks into coaching and sneak peek groups into challenge groups, because we want them to know that when they sign up as a coach and when they buy that challenge pack for $140, that they're not just getting this coach getting started right packet, and they're not just getting this challenge group, but within both of those things, they are getting this lifelong community, family, team to be a part of, whether it's for, a challenge group feel or for coaching. It's the same thing. People want to be a part of something bigger. They don't want to just give their money to somebody to get a program and not have any support, right? So that's something that I share about a lot, and that's something that I outsource to my team to be, or duplicate to my team to be able to use, is those sneak peek groups. But what you also have to know and tell new coaches too is that they need to start sharing about that from the beginning. And I laugh. My husband actually sent me these 2 pictures I'm going to show you in a second. He sent me these 2 pictures or this one, maybe, I think it's just one. This first picture that I shared back when I was a brand new coach, and I was sharing as if I had the biggest team ever, okay? I was just sharing about a sneak peek and sharing about coaching as if I had a team thousands and thousands deep, right? And you have to just do that. You have to own that success from the beginning. And that's something that I've been working with my new coaches on a lot, is them from the very beginning, get on that team call and share about it. Act as if you've been coaching for the longest time. Share about the Super Saturday that you just went to, even though you didn't know a single person. Pretend like you did. Who cares? Because you are so moved by that community, and there are people out there that want that too. Moms, women, dads, people, whoever it is that is your niche market, you have to share about that. And it doesn't even matter if you signed up today and you're about to start sharing about it. That is awesome. That's what you need to do. So you have to tell your new coaches that too, because they just don't. They don't know that, / they don't really feel that either, right? So that goes back again to my message threads. You got to get them in community with each other to make them even break down that barrier to where they're even going to be involved in that. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is here's a couple pictures. Not the one I was talking about, but here. So getting your family involved, let them see that this is a community. This is actually really helping your relationship. I put my son in my pictures all the time because he is my family. He is a complete part of my business, why I coach. He is my why and my reason, and he is such a motivator for me. So, again, keep sharing about that. Do random posts too, sneak peek posts. It's okay to do stuff like that. For me, I share all the time about, you guys, why the heck not you? I grew up thinking that I had to go to college, get a degree. I pretty much thought I was going to be a teacher from the time I was like 8 years old. So that's what I did. And my family has Spanish background. And so I became a Spanish teacher. And I really thought that that's what I needed to do. And then all of a sudden I started to realize that I was not fulfilled. And I really started to think that this is all that life had to offer. And then I started to realize that that's not true. I was meant for so much more. And why not me? And so I ask people that all the time. Why not you? Why can't you, work out with your son and feel good about yourself? Why can't your relationship with your husband be better because of something like this? Why can't you have a ton of new girlfriends? Why can you not go on amazing trips and retreats? Why can't you? And the question is that you can. So you have to keep sharing about that. This is a post I made right when I was a brand new baby coach, you guys, and I was talking about hey friends, I laugh at some of these posts, it's so funny. And so I talk about that. I talk about how I wanted to live a life by design and people reach their goals. And I go down further to say that this is not my full-time job, but it's something that I love, and it's something so supplemental to my love of teaching, things like that, even though the whole time I'm thinking, ooh, yes, I'm newly pregnant. Ooh, yes, this is going to be my full-time job soon. I have no idea how that's going to happen, but I'm going to make it happen. So pretty funny to do that. And again, this is just a glimpse into my what the heck is a challenge group post where this was inviting people to find out what a challenge group is. Again, I wanted them to get into this group because I wanted them to know what community is all about. I want them to know that behind that 140 on that challenge pack is a challenge group. And a challenge group is all about community and support and a complete life change. Okay, top tip number 5. Use your struggles for gains. So what I mean by this is, yes, don't be perfect, be real, be honest and open with people. Also, this is something I'm so passionate about because let me turn this back around. I have so many coaches who come to me, and when life gets rough, they want to quit, right? And there's nothing that irritates me more, because I've had every excuse in the world and reason that I could have used this year. This year, I had a death in my family at the beginning of the year. My mom has Lyme disease, and she's extremely, extremely sick. My sister got diagnosed with cancer and endured 6 months of chemo. Life has just been hard, right? I'm a new mom. There's so much that I could have used as an excuse, but instead I use that as a way to share my strength and share my story and my determination to make something of this business for myself and for my family, and to prove that it is possible to all the women out there in the world that follow me, or that will follow me at some point in the near future, that want to do something more for themselves. There is no way in the world that I ever would have stopped coaching or stopped sharing simply because of some of life's biggest trials. Okay, the minute that you do that, you just give up, you guys. You give up on so much. When I started coaching, I Yes, it was for kind of, well, I say selfish, but it's okay to have selfish reasons, right? It's okay to have a selfish why. I wanted to get out of teaching and I wanted to be home when I had my kid. And especially when I found out that I was pregnant, that was my why, right? Was to get home and be there. Now, as a full-time mom and full-time working coach, you know, my vision and my why and everything has kind of changed. Yes, it's still to create financial freedom for my family and to support, you know, my husband in doing a job that he loves, even if it's not making a ton of money, because I want him to be happy. I want to bring him home so that we can be a full-time entrepreneur family. There are very selfish whys behind that still, but more so, I really started to develop this mission, and especially after the, you know, a couple months of really, you know, falling in love with coaching and seeing what it was all about, is I had this mission, and my mission was to help as many women as I could find empowerment. I went so many years in my life thinking, like I just told you, that I had to be something that I just was kind of told that I had to be, right? And then there was a moment where I just had this like insane moment of courage. It's called, you guys still there? Okay, so I had this like insane moment of courage where I just said yes, and I started coaching, and since then, it's become more about like, wow, this community, this team, I want every single woman that I meet to come in contact with this, and I want them to be a part of it. I want them to know that they can do, whether it's Beachbody or whatever it is that their heart desires, but I want for them to feel empowered enough to do something that they never thought that they could. And so for me, that has become my mission, to reach these people and to help them find amazing just satisfaction in losing weight and feeling confident in their own skin and feeling beautiful, you know, in front of their husband, and feeling confident with their kids. And that has been so much of my new mission in life and in this business. And so for me, when life has gotten hard this year, we've had multiple tragic things happen in my larger family. If I was to quit, I literally see all of those women in front of me, and I see myself just basically looking at them and hearing them tell me that they need something more, and me just turning around and acting like it doesn't even matter, right? So for me, I have this deep passion and this deep mission in life that I could not even walk away from it if I tried, because I'm not done yet. I'm not done with who I want to work with and who I want to meet and who I want to help. So you have to remember that too. You have to use your struggles to reach other people, you guys. There are people out there that are dealing with so much, and the second that you let them in, the second that you talk about your you know, deaths in your family and your struggles and your sickness and your relationship struggles and, you know, and gains and things like that, you know, you have to be okay with sharing that. And yes, it takes time and it's not always easy, but I promise you it will be so much better in the long run if you can get raw and get vulnerable and share with people, because that, in that moment where you get uncomfortable, is where you make somebody out there feel so comfortable and feel like, wow, I'm not alone, right? And that's what we want. We're looking for those people who feel like they're alone and who they need somebody, right? Okay, so let me show you a couple examples. All right, we've got right here. So this is, you know, difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. Again, this was the day that my sister started chemo. And so for me, I really didn't post very much that day. I was really just devastated that this is having to happen to my baby sister who's only 24 years old. And that was, you know, that was letting people in. Here, this is all to all my moms out there. I was like a total mom beat, had gotten no sleep. Hudson was sick. And, you know, it was just normal, just sharing that I am normal and I am tired and really not wanting to do much of life today. Here, this is more of like a throwback Thursday or a transformation Thursday, I think is what it says, yeah. But this, I shared a lot about my relationship with my husband and how it's changed so much since Beachbody has come into it. How I went from being very unhappy and just negative, and it wasn't good for our marriage. And together, you know, Spencer and I, we become so much healthier. We have become more empowered. We have been better than ever. And I truly believe that it's because of Beachbody. And just remember that when life gets you down and there's things going on, yes, that's just part of life, and, you know, lean into it and let it happen. But also Beachbody, you guys, has a part in every single part of your life. Relationships, you know, financial situations, health, fitness, you know, it really, if you let it and you let it be the gift that it is, it has the ability to just touch every single person and every single part of your life if you let it. Okay, my last tip, is my really simple bonus tip, is just ask for help. It doesn't mean that you're weak, and it doesn't mean that you're not doing a good job. This is something that I've had to really teach myself, because I am very much of a perfectionist. I like to do it myself, and I'm fairly efficient if I have the time. But now as a mom and as a crazy business owner of the top 12 team in Beachbody, it's a little crazy. So I have to ask for help, and that can look like a variety of different ways, but I want you to know that that does not mean that you're weak. And for me, the longest time, I really thought that. I really thought that it meant that I just wasn't good enough. But the reality is that I can't be everybody and everywhere and everything that I personally want to be. And so I've had to kind of die to myself and dial my pride down a little bit and ask for some help. So whether that means I have somebody come and help me watch Hudson for a couple hours one day, or I have my husband run some reports in the back office for me, or I have I just now, after almost 2 years in the business, just now got a virtual assistant who kind of helps me run some reports and make some graphics and things like that, and that's been amazing. But whatever it is that you need help with, whatever it is, if you want to make this a business and you really want to make it work for you, then you're going to have to kind of sacrifice a little bit here and there, and you might have to invest in your business. And that could look like getting somebody to do your laundry, getting somebody to help watch your kids for a little while. That does not mean that you're a bad mom. It just means that you have a business to build for them, to profit for them. So you have to ask for help sometimes. And it could mean that you might spend hours making graphics, and that, that might be money really well spent and time well saved if you found somebody to help you do that too. So that's pretty much all that I have for you guys. But what I want you to know is just, you have to be you, and you have to share it unapologetically all the time. And remember that your story is so enough. Your story is so perfect, and God made you exactly how you are for a reason, exactly how you are, because there's somebody out there that is just like you, that needs to connect with your story, and they're not going to connect with anybody else's story but yours. And that's your job, is to reach those people. So how are you going to reach them if you're not sharing and you're not being open about what you're going through and where you are in life and what is awesome about Beachbody, what's awesome about what you're doing? You have to share more and more and more and more. So biggest takeaway today, everybody keeps calling me. Pretend like your story is a journal, and share all the time, and invite people in, and that can be done so easily if you really open up and share your story like it's a journal into your diary. Okay? All right. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Anybody have questions? I don't see many comments, so I see just a few. But anyways, let me know if you guys have any questions. It has been a pleasure to be able to share with you guys all my top tips and things that I do. It's so funny because I don't have any crazy systems or anything like that. I just kind of really focus on community and really share my story a lot. I'm kind of a simple Sally over here, but it works for me, so I know that it can work for you too. So with that, I will drop the PowerPoint below, and I will also drop the Power Hour tracker that I just made for my team below as well, or in the team page as well. Okay, thank you guys for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.